All right, guys. You guys can fire away and let you guys get back to your days.
Just the overall test in facing a team like Indiana.
Obviously, Indiana's a great program, and a program that I grew up watching and admiring. Like a lot of young aspiring basketball coaches. So it's going to be a great opportunity to compete against them. I mean, I think they're in a similar situation that we're in a little bit program wise. Is you got a coach in his second year, and obviously their coach is a lot more experienced than I am. But I think you can see the comfort level of the players growing, and they have a lot of returning players, and they look great last night.
Is there a overreaching benefit of just the Fox prime time, focus on that? Do you pay attention to that stuff?
I mean, it's stuff that I don't think about very often, but I'm sure there is. I mean, it's where you want to be. You want to put your program on the map, and and in order to put your program on the map, you got to get a lot of eyes on your program, and obviously that generates interest and a little bit of buzz. So I don't know what's prime time or not prime time anymore, but I'm excited to be playing Indiana, and I guess it's on Fox National, so that's great.
Did they come to you about this game, like an organizer, or was
Yeah, I mean, there's promoters behind these things, and I don't know who was approached first or second, but when it came up, it made sense for us, and I love trying to be involved in some of these neutral site games. I mean, I think we all love home and homes, but it's just hard. It's hard to get home and home. So these neutral games seem to be easier, and and Vegas seems to be a great destination, so it made a lot of sense.
Yeah, was it? How do you juggle out this game versus when you have an MTE and you're playing, a couple of early Pac-12 games, and maybe not this year but last year going to Tennessee? I mean, like, what's the equation to where you figure this is worth doing versus?
Well, it's a complicated question, but do I need to give you one of my good quotes here? Day to day, paycheck to paycheck, long neck to long neck. I mean, you know how simple I'm keeping it. Yeah. Well, obviously you want to build a schedule that for one, helps develop your team, and part of developing your team is building confidence, and challenges your team. So you want to play in matchups like this. There's a delicate balance, and I don't think there's any surefire, 100% proven scheduling model. Because you're booking these games a little different. Football, we're only booking a lot of them 1 year out or 6 months out, so it's not as crazy. But sometimes you don't know exactly what your opponent's going to look like, or if you sign a long-term deal with a team, you don't know what you're going to be like in 3 years. They don't know what they're going to be like. So, I think our schedule has the right mix for us this year. And when you throw in those two conference games in the middle, I mean, it makes it for a tough schedule. You come back from your MTE, and then you're right to it. In a game that you're trying to convince your players, like, yeah, this game in early December is going to really matter in a potential conference championship race in March. So it makes it hard, and I think you could see maybe both us and Indiana got off to a good start, and then we both played road games against pretty good teams that are gritty and knew us well, and I think you saw us both struggle, and I think you're seeing that across the board in college basketball.
Indiana has never played Arizona.
I mean, that is surprising. It is surprising, but I mean, I'm sure if a little bit's obviously probably just luck of the draw in these NCAA tournaments and stuff. But the other part of it, I'm sure, has to do with Coach Olson. Competed against Indiana when he was at Iowa, and I'm sure he probably didn't want to play against Indiana anymore, and so he probably had a lot to say for that. And he was here for a long time. And then you had Sean and Archie, our brothers. They probably didn't want to play against each other, so there probably wasn't very many opportunities for this game to happen, for 40 years because of just the dynamics of the coaching staffs on both programs. But now, it's a great opportunity for both of us and both of our fan bases, and I'm sure, that arena in Vegas is going to be electric come Saturday.
Sunday you mentioned a need to really kind of do something about the defense or improve the defense. Was there anything you worked on these last few days to try to tweak it?
Do you want me just to hand you the scouting report and okay? No. For sure. I mean, we're always trying to tighten things up, and I think that, I mean, and I would say that no matter what, if we were, if teams are shooting 30% against us, we have the number one defense in the country. You're learning about yourself and you're learning about your team as you put them through these challenges. And, not every coach has, pushed all the right buttons early in the season. I mean, it's a little bit of a guessing game and hopefully an educated guess on what you can do well and where you're going to be and what fits your personnel. And then you have to adjust and grow as the season goes. So we're in the same process as every other, team in the country. And
Defensive coordinator type assistant, someone that focuses on that side?
yeah, me. And offense too. And every coach on our staff does. I mean, basketball is not football. I mean, I know a lot of people have gone with that model. For me, I prefer that, we coach the game. And we coach the game as it's played, up and down, and there's a lot of things that bleed over into other things. So I've just always felt that, maybe the offensive defense coordinator is a great philosophy and it works for some, but to me, you can get some things that become territorial there. And, and for me, I just want to focus on winning the game. And I think in order to, the way I feel most comfortable is trying to coach both ends of the floor. I don't think that's, we're basketball coaches. That's what we should be doing. So that's just my philosophy. So, I try to get a well-rounded staff and work with whoever the lead scout is. And we try to put together a game plan and hopefully we make good choices.
What's your message this week for the young guys coming off the bench?
The message is, continue to get better and, don't get down on yourself. I mean, each of these guys is, one hustle play and one made shot away from breaking through. I mean, you're always that close and you got to continue to fight for that. And, there's nothing insurmountable. There probably a lot of them are right where exactly they should be. And is in a position where they're developing and there's, some good plays, some bad plays, and then eventually, hopefully you stick with it and there's more good plays than bad plays and just that's it. So no special message for them. Let's just keep working and get in these games and try to make an impact.
What do you think is the next step for a guy like Adama as he settles into his new role here?
I mean, I think it's one thing. I think everybody here is, when you guys think about young guys, you guys are probably looking at mostly how they're impacting the game offensively. And obviously that's important. But I think to me, the most important thing is as they're figuring out, where they're going to find their success on offense is learn how to play extremely hard and learn how to impact the game in the effort areas. And so that's always my message to them. Just learn how to be an all-around player and then, those things that, the outsiders tend to focus on and the players themselves, tend to focus on and value a lot of times will come in time, but they won't. But at the end of the day, I tell them too, is like, well, once you make a few shots, if you don't play any defense, you're still struggling. So it just, you got to grow that effort stuff first.
What was the week like, and did you have time to work on your own stuff because you didn't have a game till Saturday?
Well, I mean, there's a lot of academic stuff, because the semester is winding down, and so guys are finishing up final projects, but yeah, we practiced like normal, and just treated it like any other week, like we would, throughout the course of a season, and the goal is to get better week by week, and we'll see where we're at Saturday.
Do you find when the guys have a week like this, are they distracted by finishing up their semesters, or is it a good thing for them to get out there and just?
I mean, it can be both, and sometimes you do notice there's some, just a little bit of, I don't know if it's, academic fatigue, where guys are just tired from, cramming stuff in for school and, or just the wear and tear of, the season, those things sometimes accumulate and you have some good energy day in practice and you have some lower energy days in practice. It's just kind of what it is.
So when you have a week like this, when you're open and Indiana's playing on a Wednesday, Big Ten Network, do you watch that game in real time? When crack open some popcorn or whatever and hang out and watch it? Some coaches never want to do that. They always want to watch it on video, so they can.
Listen. Watching on video is way more efficient for my time. But yeah, the game was on last night. And I was, having dinner, hanging out with my family. I wasn't sitting there, fast forward, rewinding or anything, but just watching.
Oh, go ahead.
Do you foresee teams not guarding Zoo from the three-point line?
Every team's going to have their own plan. We'll see. I think he's 4 for 9 from 3 so far, and I know he's shooting it better. And but again, you get into this, the other team sometimes has to make decision. You'll pick your poison. And, sometimes they pick the right thing and it works. Sometimes they pick the wrong thing and it doesn't work, but that's something we're not like, I'm not panicked about by any stretch.
Knowing how much you love to give the game plan away, how do you deal with Jackson Davis? So what's your thoughts on that matchup?
Well, he's a really, really good player. He's really impressive. He's got experience now. He's obviously got, just got tons of talent, and he's got great hands, and he's got quick twitch, and he's got a lot of the attributes, and he's left-handed, which is a challenge. So, we're just going to go in there and battle. We've played against good players before, and not to say he's not one of the better ones, but we're going to go in there and battle, and we're just going to try to win a basketball game. We're not going to get caught up in a 1-5 version of this deal. He's one player on a really good team, and he's a driving force for that team. So I'm sure he's going to have our full attention.
Cal had a couple of guys miss last night with COVID. When you see something like that, does it concern you since you just played them?
Not really. We've been dealing with this thing for going on 3 years now, and it's just a way of life. And it hits sometimes, and sometimes it misses. And our guys are all vaccinated, so we've done everything we can to be proactive, and we seem to be plugging along pretty well. So just gonna take it as it comes.
You know, if all the guys have had the latest booster, the bivalent one? Or
Well, we have this thing called HIPAA regulations. So I just said all of our guys have been updated, whatever. I think so. I don't have the records. I did not stay at a Holiday Inn Express last night. I stayed home, so I have no medical opinions.
Although Chris has kind of struggled to shoot the ball lately, his assistant turnover ratio has gone up. What can you say about him? Not worrying about a shot and doing that.
I think he shot it really well overall. So he's obviously a great shooter, and he's a true point guard. He has, his one focus is always on making plays for his team, whether that involves him shooting a three or setting somebody up or just getting our offense burning and churning. So he's off to a good start this season, and he's a really good player, and I think we'll continue to see that.
Where do you think his game has grown from last season?
I just think he's comfort inside the three-point line, and making decisions inside the three-point line, whether it's, controlling his dribble in there and, when you get in the teeth of the defense and, creating opportunities for others or even for himself in there. I know he's really growing in that area, and, I think the more, live game reps he gets at that, the better he'll get at it over the course of this season.
Do you like the movie Hoosiers?
Yeah, great movie. Yeah, one of the classics, for sure.
What's your favorite basketball movie?
Probably Hoosiers. Probably Hoosiers. Cinderella Man's the best sports movie of all time. So, other than that, everything's, far second.
all right, thanks.
All right, guys. See you guys in Vegas.